Okay, let's go ahead and get started. For anybody who is here on the Zoom, just so you are aware, I am recording the Zoom. If that is not acceptable to you, please feel free to leave and watch the recording when I am done with it. So first thing we're going to go over is the syllabus, and then the second thing we are going to go through is just a quick preview of the website that you will be using to interact with the course material for this class. Okay, so here we have our syllabus. So if you are meeting with me, my name is Andrew McGuire. I am going to be your instructor for Introduction to Music. You have signed up for section 3. That is going to meet on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 10:20 to 11:10 in the Scheit Family Performing Arts Center. That is the new building on the north side of campus. That is going to be room 2113. So your objectives for this course are going to be pretty simple. We want you to have a breadth of knowledge on various Western and non-Western cultures, historical periods, including different creative processes that musicians, composers go through as these different forms and elements in music are created and as they pertain to history. The required material, you are going to need the musical experience 5th edition from Kendall Hunt Publishers by John Chiego and Joel Schnackle. Our textbook can be found in the Tiger bookstore. This is also a resource that you can purchase through Tiger Smart. You can also purchase the book directly from the publisher. A couple of things: you will need a Spotify account for this class. You do not need a premium Spotify account. You simply need a free Spotify account. The big thing for this class is you are going to need a textbook and an access code. So when you purchase the physical textbook, that is going to come with an access code. You will use that code then to access all of the materials that you need to study, to take the tests, to take the listening test online. Please note that if you purchase any other textbook, a used textbook, an older edition of the textbook, the access code will not work for our current class. So you need a new 5th edition text so you get the correct access code. This is going to have, or you are going to see this multiple times in the syllabus, but it is not possible to pass the course without actively engaging with the online materials. Again, this is where all of your homework is going to be is online, all of your tests and all of your listening tests, and we will talk about those a bit more when we get to that point. So just some basic technical information that you are going to need. I already said that you're going to need a Spotify account, premium or free, it does not matter. Important, do not look for anything on Canvas. We will not be utilizing Canvas whatsoever, okay? So if I need to communicate with you, I will communicate through email. If you need to communicate with me, my email is up at the top of the syllabus. You are welcome to use that. Regular online access, again, is going to be a requirement for this course. When you are registering for this course online, please double and triple check that you are checking that you are registered for section 3 of Introduction to Music, and your instructor is listed as me, Andrew McGuire. Okay, please make sure that you don't register for a different section or a different instructor. If you do that, find that you have issues with the website. There are help buttons all over the place on the website where you can send a quick email to someone in relation to the website, and they are pretty good within about 24 hours getting back to you and helping you with any technical issues that you might have involving the website. So course requirements. It is pretty imperative that you do the reading. So when we go through material in class, the idea is that you've already read this material in the book. Once you've read that material, you then come to class. I will elaborate more on different material that I feel is more important to what we are discussing. You are also going to have homeworks for each chapter that you are responsible for doing. You are also going to have discussion board posts that you are responsible for doing, which we will go over in a second. And again, you have your tests and your listening tests. Your homeworks, your discussion board posts, you are allowed to do throughout the semester at your own pace. There is not a set pace. My recommendation is, as we get started with a chapter, that you go ahead and do the homeworks for that chapter. Again, this is helping you engage with the material, right? There is going to be a set day at the end of the semester when everything is due. You may do any of your discussion board posts and or your homeworks before that date. Once that date gets here, everything gets closed and it's no longer accessible. So make sure that you are on top of getting everything done that you need to get done. Academic integrity. So plagiarism, cheating, using AI to formulate any of your answers. We will find this, and unfortunately, we do have to report you to the university for this. Academic integrity is something that we do take very seriously. So if you are interested in reading more about the processes that the university uses, you are free to go to that website. That website should be accessible when you have the PDF of the syllabus. You can find the syllabus on our class website. It has also been sent in a couple of emails as well. I will send it again when I send the recording of this meeting. Okay, so tests and assignments. This is going to be a grade breakdown for this class. So you are going to have 10 chapters through the book that you are responsible for doing your list. That, let's see, what are you responsible for? In those 10 chapters, you're going to have your biographic spotlights, which is part of your homework. So you're going to have all of your homeworks. You're also going to have your discussion board posts, and we'll get to those in a second. You will have your tests and your listening tests. So when we look at your grade breakdown, this is what it's going to look like. Your content test, there's going to be 5 of them. That's going to be roughly half of your grade. So each test is going to be 10% of your grade. If for whatever reason you don't take a test, that's already 10% off the top of your grade, right? So the best you could potentially do is earn a 90. Your listening test, which will correspond to each content test you have, will be 20% of your total grade, okay? Then your chapter questions, your listening exercises, your biographical spotlights, that's all of your homework. That's going to comprise the other 30% of your grade. So all of this is going to equal up to 100% of your total grade. Please pay attention here up at the top of the page, or towards the top here, rather, it's bolded for you. Test dates and due dates for the chapter question assignments, listening exercises, and biographical spotlight assignments, your homeworks, can be found by clicking on the chapter name under the assignments or test tabs on the home page. So we will go to an example of our website in just a second. Again, it is not possible to pass the course without actively engaging with the online materials. Tests, assignments, and exercises not completed by the due dates will result in a 0 score for those assessments. Your due dates will be at the end of your syllabus. Here is a grading scale for this class. It's very standard. This is what you have used probably through the majority of your education up to this point. 90 to 100 is going to be an A, 80 to 89, B, etc. Okay, So discussion board posts, there is going to be a discussion board post for every single chapter that we go over. So there will be 10 discussion board posts total. You are only responsible for doing at the minimum 5. If you want to do 7, great. If you want to do all 10, fabulous. However, each student must place a minimum of 5 postings to discussion board over the course of the semester. So let's say that John Doe didn't complete 2 of his discussion board posts. Each discussion board post that he does not complete that he is expected to is going to reduce his overall semester grade by 3.3% or 1 grading increment. So if he doesn't do 2 discussion board posts, that is a 6.6% post deduction being taken from his total grade. Okay, so as college students, you are professionals in training, right? The idea is that you finish your degree and you either go on to get more degrees and enter the workforce, or then after your undergraduate degree, you go to enter the workforce. So that's kind of the expectation that you have. Each student in my section of Introduction to Music will have 3 excused absences that they are allowed to use. These do not need any explanation. They do not need to be rationaled to me whatsoever. You may use them and you just use them. So if you don't show up to class one day, I'm assuming that you're using an excused absence. All right. It is strongly recommended that you use these for emergencies only. Things you might consider using these for include, but are not limited to, illness, which is going to include COVID-19. So if you get COVID during the course of the semester, the university is going with CDC recommendations that you are in quarantine for 5 days. When you return, you are masked up for an additional 5 days. However, COVID-19 will include these absences. So there aren't any extra absences for COVID at this point. Other things you might consider using these absences for: death in the family, a court summons, professional development for your major, and or doctor's appointments. So like I said, you have 3 absences that you may use without being penalized, okay? On your 4th absence, you will receive a grade deduction of a grading increment. So like we did with the discussion board post, 1 grading increment is going to be 3.3%. So then subsequently, every 2 absences, you will earn another grade increment deduction. So if John Doe has missed class 13 times, we're going to take 3 off the top for his excused absences. His 4th is going to be 3.3%. His 6th absence will then be 3.3%. His 8th, 3.3%. His 10th, 3.3%. And his 12th, 3.3%. All of those added up, that is a total of 16.5% deducted from his total semester grade, okay? So at that point, he is only going to be capable of earning an 83.5% if he got an A on everything. All right. So it's important that you show up to class regularly. So next we have student resources. So Online Counseling Center is located in Wilder Tower. There are also other resources within the city of Memphis. Should you need to utilize counseling resources, please let me know. Relaxation Zone and Oasis Room is going to be located in Wilder Tower as well. Tiger Pantry is going to be for U of M students. This is going to help if you are in need of non-perishable goods. We do have an ITS department completely dedicated to students and university people. Please use this if you need help in any capacity with your personal devices, with your email, with your student ID. I will say, if you have any issues with the class website, go to the website help desk first before you go to technical assistance with the university. If you have questions about ad dropping, you can find it on the website located here. TigerSmart, if you are not aware of it, is linked here. This gives you access to course materials for a reduced rate. Syllabus changes. There are chances that I may make some changes to the syllabus. Generally speaking, this is only going to be reflected in the calendar specifically. If I do make a typo, which I will admit I have already made, this reflects to those typos as well. So I believe on the website, the syllabus that is on the website has the incorrect times for your tests. However, the syllabuses that I have been sending out through email have been corrected. So make sure that you follow the corrected times, and we'll go over those at the end. Extra credit. So there will be some extra credit opportunities for this class. However, these are going to be the only 2 extra credit opportunities that you will have, and there will be different ones that you can potentially have. So I'm not going to add anything outside of this, is what I am trying to say. So you can go to concerts at the university or throughout the Memphis community, and we'll go over specific concerts, and then unused excused absences. So if you get to the end of the semester and you have not used your absences, you may get extra credit for the unused excused absences. All right, so concert attendance. You may attend a classical music or world music concert on campus and throughout the Memphis community for extra credit. In order to receive extra credit, you must provide me with a physical copy of the program from that event. There is an exception, which I will go over in a second. The physical copies of the program must be brought to me in person in class with your name and then your student ID number on the program where I can see it. Okay, that's the only way that I am going to give extra credit for programs outside of university programs. The one exception to this, let me backtrack really quickly. Printed copies of digital programs will not be accepted, okay? You can really find digital programs anywhere online at this point, so do not print them off and bring them to me thinking that you can bypass this, okay? There is a very staunch difference, and it's very telling when you get where you get these from, okay? Each of these concerts that you attend are worth up to 2 extra credit points and will be added to your test category. So say you have currently 160 points out of 200 points for your test, right? So they're out of 100 points. And so that would be 2B. So you're sitting exactly at an 80%, right? So you attend a concert, you'll get 162 points, right? So that's bumping you up. Now, remember, your test category is the most heavily weighted category for your grades. So 2 points is actually going to pull you up quite considerably because that's where the most weight of your grade is. Okay, now the exception to these concerts. If you attend a performance given by the University of Memphis Symphony Orchestra, in which I am a member, from the audience, take a selfie with me somewhere in the picture. You may come find me after the concert. You can come up to the stage and find me during intermission, but I need to be in a picture of the stage, okay? So this is to confirm your attendance at the concert. This applies to symphony orchestra concerts only. This does not apply to wind ensemble. This does not apply to symphonic band. This does not apply to choral concerts. This is U of M symphony orchestra concerts. Okay, so then I am also going to acknowledge the land that the university is using. So I will just read this statement. We recognize and acknowledge that we are on the historic homeland of the Chickasaw Nation, of which they inhabited. Memphis and all of Tennessee was the long established territory for many indigenous peoples, including the Choctaw and Quapaw nations, prior to their forced removal and for some, their unforeseen extinction. We have a responsibility to acknowledge the peoples and histories of these lands. Our ability to live here is the result of direct coercion, forced dispossession, and deliberate colonization. To ignore that is to perpetuate injustice to populations of people that no longer exist in this state and yet have established major societies elsewhere in this country. The city of Memphis respects the diverse communities it touches, including those who occupied this territory originally, those brought to it by force, and those who settled here in search of better circumstances. We understand that territorial acknowledgement is only a gesture, but it represents the beginning of commitment to justice and reconciliation in the United States. So then I would like to also say that this was co-authored by representatives from the Cultural Heritage Department at the university and legal teams from the Chickasaw Nations and Native Rights, a grass movements organization in Memphis. All right. If you are a student who needs some sort of physical and or mental accommodation, these are available to you. However, you have to advocate for yourself. Anyone who has found that they come up to physical or mental barriers should reach out to the Disability Resources for Student office. It is your responsibility to reach out and seek those helps, okay? Assistants are required. So teaching assistant is required by law to provide reasonable accommodations to students with disabilities so as not to discriminate against those disabilities, right? So student responsibility, your responsibility as students, rests with informing me, faculty, at the beginning of the semester and providing authorized documentation through designated administrative channels. So this means contacting the DRS office at the University of Memphis. You have all of their contact information here. You have the website, their direct email, their phone number, and then the address where they are located. Okay, inclusivity statement. At the University of Memphis, we are not all the same, and that is our greatest strength. We will draw on the differences in who we are, what we have experienced, and how we think. Because to create learning environment that serves everyone, we believe in including everyone. This is something that I take very personally. My classroom, my section is going to be a safe space for anyone who wants to study introduction to music. And I hold that same standard for anybody interacting with each other in my classroom. Okay, so it's as simple as being respectful, right? It doesn't matter where you come from, what background you have. Everybody has a welcome space in my classroom. If that is not something that resonates with you, you are welcome to take a different section of this course. However, bigotry will not be tolerated in any way, shape, or form in this class, period. If you have any issues, please bring them to my attention and they will be dealt with immediately. Emails. So as professionals in training, emails are going to be a fast and quick way of communicating. So please know that emails are not going to be text messages. They are not direct messages. They are not informal. In the professional world, as a professional, I get 24 hours to respond to an email before anticipating another email, from one of my colleagues. This extends to you. Please give me 24 hours before sending me multiple emails, right? In addition to teaching this course, I am also a full-time doctoral student here at the University of Memphis. So I have many different plates that I am juggling. As a general rule of thumb, if emails are sent after 5 p.m. on weekdays, if emails are sent on weekends or during holidays, do not expect a response until 8 p.m. on the next business day. Business days are going to be any weekday that people attend work as normal. However, this is going to exclude holidays. So like if you sent an email after 5 on Friday last week, you couldn't, or I wouldn't expect a response rather until Tuesday at 8 a.m. because Monday was MLK Day, right? So again, this is going to be the expectation for how you communicate with your professors. As a minimum, consider the email formatting should include a greeting such as good morning. It could include dear Mr. McGuire, etc. The ending then needs to include a salutation. Thank you for your time, respectfully, sincerely, best, something along those lines. Please also make sure that your name is very clearly written somewhere in the email. Do not assume that I am going to know who this email is coming from. A lot of the university emails do not have people's full names on them. You will find with my email that it's my middle initial and then some of the letters from my last name, but not my whole last name, right? And then a number. Please also avoid sending to all messages. This is when you respond to an email, but instead of just responding to me, the sender, you respond to the entire class. Everybody is getting inundated with emails on a daily basis from multiple different sources. If you need to ask a question, if you need to say something, you are more than welcome to send an email to me, but please make sure you are only sending it to me. When in doubt, simply edge on the side of formality. Again, as professionals in training, this is going to be great practice for when you finally enter the workforce. Student decorum, the way we present ourselves in class, the way we behave in a place of learning not only affects the way that we learn, it also affects the learning around us. So the learning of others, right? Again, as a baseline, be respectful of everyone in your surroundings and how you conduct yourself. If student conduct begins to inhibit or disrupt the learning of others, the instructor, that is me, reserves the right to dismiss students from class for that day and mark them as absent. Disruptive behaviors are going to include, but are not limited to, listening to music on AirPods or headphones, talking while I am talking while listening to an example that is being played, watching videos in any length or description on personal devices that are not related to class, and making personal phone calls. All of this is being written because at some point in time, I have had a student in my class attempt to do one of these, right? So this is just a catch-all. Please remember that being disruptive in class not only inhibits your ability to learn, it also interrupts the learning of others. Phone calls. I will say that occasionally we have family emergencies, things that we're not expecting pop up, or you may be waiting for a phone call. Please feel free to step out into the hallway and take that phone call. Again, professionals in training, this is something that we as professionals do. However, try to keep your phone calls to a 5-minute maximum, right? So step out into the hall, greet whoever is calling you, get a general description of what they need, tell them that you will call them back when you are not busy, and then call them back after class, okay? Bathroom breaks, go use the bathroom during class. You all are adults, you do not have to ask me. Please just understand that I'm not going to backtrack for any information that you miss while you're gone. So you'll want to utilize the bathroom as quickly as possible so you miss as little as possible. Okay, so then our schedule for class. So week 1 is going to be kind of messed up because we have had snow days, right? So I will be able to compact everything from chapter 1, I believe, into Friday and or Monday if we need to do that. Then chapter 2, I can fit into the rest of next week. So I'm doing the syllabus today just to get this out of the way because it does take some time, right? So you can see all of the chapters that we are going to go through, what week we're visiting them, specifically what days I intend to get there, right? You can also see when all of your tests are going to be. So for instance, Test 1 is going to be available to you from 11:10 on February 2nd until 11:55 p.m. on February 6th. So you have a 4-day window to take this test whenever you would like to take it. You take it on your personal device and you take it at home. It's the same with the listening test, okay? So you get half an hour for the content portion of the test. You get 60 minutes for the listening portion of this test. Each test window, you will have an allotted class day to take that test. So you can see on Monday, February 5th, we do not have class because that is your allotted test day window. My strong recommendation, use that time to take the test, right? That's going to be the easiest thing to do. So many people look over that time as just kind of free time. Is it? Sure, because you could potentially take your test and your listening test at other points. However, that is going to be the best way to utilize your time is by taking it at that designated time. Okay? So then like that, you will have roughly a 4-day window for every test. I've also included when we have spring break, right? So that list is going, or that week is going to be included in your date list for the syllabus. Okay, so down here at the end of your calendar is going to be extremely important. So on Wednesday, April 24th, that is going to be your last day of class, essentially, even though it says no class. So our last day of class is going to be April 22nd, right? So then you are released to take your test 5 and listening test 5. Wednesday, April 24th, that is going to be when all of your homework assignments are due and when your discussion board posts are due, okay? This is the official last day of class. The 25th is your study day. So anything submitted after the 24th will not be accepted, okay? So make sure you get everything turned in before the end of Wednesday, April 24th, okay? So then April 26th is when exams begin, okay? All right. So then I am going to switch us over. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so then really quickly, let's go over the website. Let me pull it up on my computer. And then I will show everyone how to get into it. Oh, was there a question? You are perfectly welcome, Nathaniel. I will see you the first time we are able to meet in class. Okay, so then let me enter my information and it should sign us in. Okay, so a couple of things going on here. Your page is going to look a bit different than mine is. However, you will see this bright orange button right here. At the bottom, you will also see this calendar. This calendar is going to be super important because this is going to tell you your test date availability, right? So here you have the opening, your listening test and your test opening. If you click on it, it's going to pull up the description of what that item is. So your listening test is going to be from 11:10 on February 2nd, and it's going to, that doesn't make any sense. So this is just the notification, right? So you can see that you are being notified at 11:10 on February 2nd. So then if I go and click the listening date on the 6th, it's going to show something similar. So your test is going to, or your test window rather, is going to end on the 6th at 11:55 p.m. Okay. So through the entire semester, you are going to see all of the dates here. Okay. So then when you want to get to the class website, you'll click view this publication. And then I'm going to click this. This will allow me to view the student website. Okay, so when you get onto our website, the website is going to look something very much like this. So you are going to see a spot for the syllabus, for chapter resources, for the playlist, for discussion boards, for your assignments, for Spotify support, for your tests, and for your grade book. So when we click on syllabus, it's simply going to have a link to the syllabus, right? So this is going to be the syllabus where if I were to pull back the other syllabus, the times are not correct for your test date. So your test will always open when class ends. So February 2nd, class is going to end at 11:10. That is when February 2nd at 11:10, your test opens, right? We want you to be able to get all of the information from class before attempting to take the test. So then chapter resources, if we click on it, this is going to have a whole bunch of stuff that you can use. So you can take a pre-test. This is a great test tool because at the end of this, it will show you what you missed, and that can kind of clue you in on what you need to study before the test, right? This is going to have a timeline, if you clicked on this, of all of the different composers and pieces that we have. This is going to have a listening chart. This is going to be another great study tool. This will walk you through when you hear this, it's potentially this. You are going to have PowerPoints for chapter 1. These are going to be incomplete PowerPoints, right? So if you take those and download them, you can use your computer in class to fill them in as I'm going through them, and you'll be able to write down the information that we have. You have flashcards for all of these terms here. These are going to be all of the important terms for chapter 1. You are going to have key people and composition cards. So this is going to be composers and their compositions, any web links, and then post tests. Again, you can use the post test like you do the pre-test. This is going to tell you what you still need to study. You have all of these for each chapter. So please make sure that you utilize them. There are a lot of wonderful tools there. If we click on playlist, this will take you directly to our YouTube playlist for this chapter, so you can see the videos of all of these pieces. Some of the earlier pieces are probably only going to be still pictures, but you do have access to all of them. You also have a link to see Spotify playlists. Okay, so your earbuds are going to be Spotify playlist. Your play button is going to be a YouTube link. You then have your link to all of your discussion board posts. So then you're going to have questions here that you can answer. You'll click on your chapter discussion, and that will take you to where you fill this in. You will then have your assignments for every chapter. Okay, and you can see the start and end dates for each of these. So it's going to ask you different questions, right? So give the name and dates for each of the historical periods, right? So you'll have 6 things you fill in. So historical period and date, you could say medieval, then you could say Renaissance, Baroque, classical, romantic. I just gave you all of the answers, or some of them rather. You'll then need to put the historic period dates, the composers, and different musical characteristics. These will all be listed in the reading and the lecture. Okay, and then each of your chapter question assignments will be different. They won't all look exactly like this. You have your Spotify support. Sign up for a free account, how to do that. You have your tests. Okay, so you are going to see you have two different things to do for each test day. You have your content test and you have your listening test, right? So your start date, again, is going to be February 2nd at 11:10. That is when class ends. The end date is going to be February 6th, excuse me, at 11:55 p.m. Because these are test windows and not a test time specifically, I will not reopen these test windows. So make sure that you are very aware of when they are. Please write them down. You will also get an email when each test window opens. You will also get announcements on the class website. So you will have some help, but please, please, please make sure that you get these tests taken when the test dates are open. So I am allowed to see this because I am the instructor for this course, but the website will not allow you to take the test outside of the window given up here, right? So make sure that you take the test during this window. All right, so then grade book. This should show you, and again, I'm going to have a few different things here than you all do, but this will allow you to see what your grade for the website is. Now, I will say make sure that you are keeping track of your absences, right? And your discussion board posts. This website will only show you what you have as far as the website is concerned. However, if you miss classes and you receive those deductions come on after the website. So I will submit midterms and that will be an accurate reflection of what you currently have in the class. I will also do the deductions before the end of the semester. So please remember that the website is just a general idea of your grade. Remember, absences, you are going to have grade deductions, and then not completing discussion board posts, you will have grade deductions. Anything that is not completed by the due date will also result in a 0. Okay. So then that should conclude everything that I have to cover. So please let me know via email if you need any assistance, if you have any questions. Remember, you also have the help line through the website to use. Remember, when you register for our online course, you need to register for section 3, and you need to make sure that you have Andrew McGuire listed as the instructor. Okay. Again, please let me know if you have any questions through email, or you can come to class, our first class together with questions. If for whatever reason we end up missing class on Friday, I will have more instructions for you all when we get to that bridge. Okay, so thank you for joining today, for those of you who did join, and then this will be a video for anyone else who may have missed it.